think most of you know me, but I'm Carol Swayze, and I thank you all for coming tonight. I thank the candidates for being here. They've had lots of forums, and we want to all be informed voters, so hopefully tonight we'll get some information from them, okay? I'd like to introduce Carla Brummett. She's going to be one, the two of us are going to ask questions. And then we all want to vote on April the 7th, so...
Or before.
Or before. Oh, yes, or before. That's true. Okay, and our facilitator tonight is Charles Sellens from Dodge City. Charles came to Ford County from Japan. He worked for the Japanese Foreign Service. Prior to his 13 years in Japan, he served for 2 years in the Peace Corps in the Solomon Islands. His international service also includes 3 years in the Army, with 2 years service in Germany during the Cold War. Charles's education includes a master's in public administration from Kansas State University. He taught several years at Dodge City Community College, and he is active in local organizations and community activities. So let's welcome Charles. He's going to be our facilitator.
Thank you for that introduction, Carol. After hearing that opening that she gave me, I think I should be a candidate. But I am not, fortunately. We do have 6 candidates running for 3 positions on the Dodge City Community Board of Trustees. The forum was scheduled to last an hour and 15 minutes. 3 of the candidates were not able to make it here tonight, so we'll likely get out of here much sooner. Each candidate will have 2 minutes to introduce themselves. They'll have 2 minutes at the end of question and answers in order to have some closing remarks. If we have 3 candidates that are not present, if someone is here to speak for them, they'll be allowed to do that during the introductions, but they won't be allowed to participate in the debate, nor will they be allowed to give a closing statement. The questions will be posed to the candidates by Carla Brummett and Carol Swayze, and there's time limits. Most of them only have 1 minute. I have 2 cards. At 15 seconds, I'm going to hold up the green one. If they get to the minute, I'll hold up the red one, and that's the signal to stop. No questions from the audience for this forum, but we're encouraging the candidates to stay afterwards to answer any questions that you have posed for them personally. And there is one question that's requiring them to have information about Dodge City Community College 4K's operational agreement, and they've all been furnished with a copy of that agreement. We'll now begin with the self-introductions, but before I do, is anyone here to speak for either Danny Thomas, Jean Doe, or Dr. Presley? Anybody here to speak for these candidates? Then we'll begin with our first candidate.
Wait, just a minute. There's water in the refrigerator. Johnny, if people want water, I should have had it up here. There's a small bottle of water, or anybody in the audience if they'd like it.
And the candidates drew numbers for their seating position, and this is the order that we'll start in, and then it'll rotate, so each candidate will have an opportunity to answer the questions first. We'll begin with Jean Hampton.
Thank you. I'm Jean Hampton, retired farmer, rancher, and registered nurse. My husband and I both went to nursing school with 5 little children, and yes, we believe in continuing education. I live in northwest Ford County, where my great-grandparents were pioneer homesteaders. All 7 of us and some grandchildren have hours or degrees from Dodge City Community College. I've been a trustee for 24 years, served as state president of the Kansas Association of Community College Trustees, and was appointed by Governor Graves to the Kansas Board of Regents when the legislature moved community colleges from the Board of Education to the Board of Regents. I have spent my life working for the things in Dodge City, Ford County, and the state of Kansas that I believe were positive and uplifting, and I plan to continue doing that. I'm running because I believe my years of experience and my dedication will continue to be assets to this Board of Trustees. I value the trust invested in a trustee to defend and care for that which has been entrusted to you.
Good evening, my name is Bill Hammond, and I just first of all want to say this is one of the neatest buildings I have seen in a long time, and I think you folks have something to be very, very proud of here. And sometimes we forget how important our small towns are to Ford County and to Western Kansas. They do make a difference, and there's a quality of life you just can't find anywhere else. So congratulations on what you've been doing. That's fantastic. I grew up in St. Joseph, Missouri. Thought it was a small town, but went to Missouri Western State College there. I have an undergrad in speech and theater, secondary degree so I could teach school. Went on to seminary. I was a United Methodist minister for about 10 years full time. I graduated actually from Midwestern Baptist Theological Seminary. Went back to school. Someday I'll grow up and figure out what I really want to do with my life. Picked up enough accounting classes, set for the CPA exam, and I do have a CPA certificate. Been in school administration, almost 25 years now. It's been a while, but it's been an enjoyable career. I've enjoyed school administration because I think helping young people and children has been just an important part of that. I served 7 years at Highland as their chief financial officer, and then 7 years at Garden City Community College as their chief business and financial officer. So I have some knowledge about how things work in a community college. And I also know that over the years, there's times when, God bless our dear state representatives and governors that come and go, they make a lot of promises that they don't completely keep. And you'll probably hear Terry talk before we're done about Senate Bill 345, where we took away the county out district tuition, where other counties got to help pay some of the cost of community colleges. And we had a 5-year funding plan, and I was a young guy at that point. I was so excited. We knew what we were going to get from the state for 5 years, and the guys who'd been around for a little while said, well, Bill, you might want to kind of hold on. And the state paid the first year, just a little bit the second year, and that was the end of the 5-year funding plan. So I'm a little cynical when people say the state's going to do something. It just doesn't always work out that way. So anyway, I would appreciate your vote April 7th. If there's any questions at the end of the form, I'll be happy to stay and answer anything that I can. I am married, and I have 2 grown daughters, and I'll be quiet now because my time's up. I didn't get to tell you about my daughters.
I am Terry Malone, and I moved to Dodge City in 1975 to begin practicing law. I married Gretchen Ripple. Her family has lived in Ford County since the 1870s. Her great-grandfather started a slaughterhouse, so he was way ahead of the rest of them. But we have 3 children, Katie, Kevin, and Kyle, and all of them have attended Dodge City Community College, but have not graduated. They went on to other schools after taking some classes there. I grew up in Rice County, south of Chase, Kansas. I was a farm boy. We milked cows, had wheat, had some pigs, things of this nature. I went to Kansas State University and Washburn Law School. I've been a county attorney for 2 terms and was a city prosecutor in Dodge City for 24 years, just having left that position in January. I presently involve myself mostly with litigation, representing, for the most part, insurance companies like Farm Bureau and Liberty Mutual and such. I do represent other people in other litigation too. I have served 16 years as a trustee for the Dodge City Community College. I think about 12 of those, or 14 with Forrest Jean. I've served with 2 other trustees that are on the board presently, and it was always a very good experience. However, always a tough experience because we do deal with having to levy taxes on people, and it's a huge responsibility, which I take very seriously. I decided to get back into the race due to the fact that there was an attempted takeover of our college. It was in jeopardy because 3 trustees thought it was a good idea to get rid of our college give our tax money to 4Ks and let them run it. I'm not in favor of that.
Okay, first question. Dodge City Community College's current president, Dr. Don Woodburn, will retire June 30th, 2015. What procedures would you like to see followed in hiring a new president?
And Bill Hammond will answer the question first.
Bill, answers first.
All right. The first thing that should happen anytime you're going to hire a CEO is you should know the direction you want that CEO to take. The college should not hire somebody and then say, well, gee, where do we need to go? The college board needs to know the direction. And the important thing at this juncture for Dodge City Community College is we know the direction the college should take. The college should demand to remain independent. The college should demand of a new president that he will stand up for the community college, fight for the community college, fight for the students, affordable tuition, fight for the taxpayers, that we won't be sending our tax dollars someplace else. And to me, that's the first thing the board needs to decide. They have hired a search firm, which is an appropriate way to do this, and I think that the board, having given a direction, needs to find a candidate who will serve the citizens of Ford County in meeting that direction.
In my service as a trustee, I've been involved in 3 different presidential searches. Dr. Gamble, Dr. Grimm, and Dr. Burt. So I learned a great deal from interviewing candidates and finding out how the process works and who would be a good candidate and who wouldn't be. First of all, I think you always have to look in-house to see if there are any people in Ford County or surrounding counties that would be a good fit, because if they're not used to this type of rural area, then they're not going to be very happy, and they won't understand the people that they are to be representing and the people that they need to serve as far as providing educational and training opportunities. So I do think we also need to always involve the community in those searches. Let them hear from the candidates after we whittle it down to 3 or 4 or 5, and get the community input from what they think of this person.
As Bill and Terry have said, we are getting ready to do that right now at the college. The most effective use of time and money in looking for a president is to hire a reputable professional search firm. Work with them then to develop the profile for what kind of a candidate you want them to refer to you. Make a plan for who on campus is responsible for what in this search as it proceeds. Interview the recommended candidates. Include representatives from the faculty, staff, and students, and the public in open and transparent decisions. Then, seal the deal before somebody else beats you to your first choice.
Okay, second question. DC3 has an ever-increasing number of minority students, yet there are very few minority administrators, faculty, or staff. Are you comfortable with the situation? If not, how would you propose to increase the diversity among DC3 employees to reflect the diversity of the student community?
And Terry is first.
As a trustee, we are given the opportunity to attend leadership conferences annually, and this is something that is talked about because there, as everyone knows, the Hispanic population is growing larger and larger, and the children are wanting more and more education, but there are not a lot of minority instructors, teachers, faculties, things of this nature. So it is it's tough to get really good faculty or staff because being bilingual, and everybody wants the Hispanic students to come to their college. It's just an impossible situation as far as, because they usually go to other communities. But we need to work on that, and we are growing our own. The community is becoming more and more educated, more and more students are graduating, so I think we have a bright future.
We're making progress reaching minority students, and in fact, I got the information from the registrar that right now, 50.25% of our students are other than white. But we don't match that for administrators and faculty because many of the minorities are first generation and they are not prepared for professional levels. That means there is not a pool of applicants for faculty and administration. I firmly believe that our hiring recruiters look first for quality rather than just filling slots. We have some outstanding people in administration and faculty and staff, both male and female, some amazing, dedicated folks in maintenance and food service. The list shows full-time staff, 17% other than white. Part-time staff, 43%. The point we need to make here is that community college is the place where they have an opportunity to start on the upward path, and we are gaining, but it takes time.
I think it's appropriate for a new board to reevaluate the college hiring policies to ensure that we are inclusive. And knowing I say we haven't been, I just think it's appropriate for a board to look at that ever so often. We need to make sure that all faculty and administrative searches are conducted on a national basis using national publications and national websites. We need to assure potential applicants that we welcome diversity. But in my opinion, diversity is more than a matter of race or natural origin. It is also hiring faculty who have graduated from a variety of institutions. If we have 3, 4, or 5 English professors, let's say, they shouldn't all come out of the same academic program at one university. We should try to ensure that we have diversity there also to give our students a variety of experiences at the community college. Our goal obviously should be to hire the best candidate for our positions because our students deserve no less.
And now the next question.
Question number 3. Recent concerns and criticisms have been raised concerning DC3's employee salaries. What is your position on employee salaries?
And for Steve,
I'll be first.
question.
There are a lot of people at DCCC that work for not very much money. I wish it could be better. For the faculty, I was reminded of the education concerns in the news when President Reagan was in office. A nation at risk, remember? Warning that our students were slipping behind other countries because too many did not have good teachers. Those jobs were not valued enough, they didn't pay enough, and we didn't train them well enough. Today, we still worry that our students aren't keeping up in the sciences and even in the basics. I think I'm right that nationally, the percentage of students who come into a community college who need a remedial course or more is 63%. Our numbers in Dodge City Community College are more like 80%. Even though there are many great teachers because they want to be a teacher, others that ought to be are not because of the pay. I wish we could pay good teachers enough that the profession is also rewarding financially.
This item started really when a member of the community presented wrong information, and the numbers that were quoted were just incorrect. The current average salary for faculty at Dodge City Community College is $48,596 for a 170-day contract. According to Cape War reports, our salaries are pretty much in line with other community colleges. Now, having worked at both Garden City Community College and Dodge City Public Schools, I can tell you it costs more to recruit a faculty person to Western Kansas. That's just the bottom line, folks. If you want quality, you've got to pay for it out here. And it's true, my wife is a professor at the community college. She teaches developmental English, has an excellent background in that. And I just might mention, my wife with a double master's and over 20 plus years of teaching experience, and she told me that she'd probably get a shit me if I told you how many years of teaching experience. You do understand those things. I have a daughter that graduated about 5 years ago with a master's back east, and she will probably double my wife's salary in the next 2 years based on the trajectory. Folks, we don't pay our teachers enough.
I believe that that criticism of the faculty salaries and staff at community colleges, they had a forum last October, and I believe there were many jaws that dropped to the floor when it was announced by this individual that teachers got paid too much. To me, education is the key to everything. I owe everything that I had to teachers, all the way from elementary school through law school. And I can guarantee you that we don't pay them too much, and I wish that their work would be valued more than it is. This is a working faculty. These are not Ivy Tower people that spend their days researching things. These our faculty work and teach many classes. They deserve all they get because they do a great job.
Okay, question number 4. Many Ford County property owners are concerned about taxes paid to support DC3. What is your position on property taxes paid to DC3?
And Bill gets this question first.
First of all, I am very much aware of mill levies. I've been in education for 25 years or so, and mill levies are always an issue, anytime, whether it's a USD or whether it's a community college. And by the way, we don't get free taxes if we work with the community college or the USD. We still pay taxes too, so yes, we're concerned. DCCC needs to be a good steward of tax dollars. Public institutions are accountable to the taxpayers. The sad thing is that we in Ford County, as 18 other community college districts do, we're taking on a statewide mission. All the counties should be paying something for the community college mission. It's a statewide mission today, but that's not the way the state has it set up. Regents institutions should be supported with state dollars, not local taxpayers' property tax. That's one of the issues that I had with the attempt to take over by Fort Hays. They were going to come and tax us to run a Regents institution. I have a problem with it. I don't want our taxes to go to Fort Hays with no representation. Again, we should continually look for other sources of funds, such as our helicopter program, and I'm told this next year that will net about $1 million for the campus.
As I indicated as a trustee for 16 years, annually we had to revisit the budget and see what taxes had to be levied in order to provide the best high quality and affordable education we could. And it was always difficult to make those choices because taxes are very high in this county. And we tried everything we could to keep that low. Like Bill said, the helicopter program, it just came to be. It started back in about 1997, 1998 when I was on the board, and it's really growing. We have a new chance in California, and that may go to $2 or $3 million in net profit on that. So that's going to be a good thing. But The real thing is, as far as funding, we lost millions of dollars when the state took away the out-district, out-county aid. Now, a resident from Clark County has to pay nothing in tuition to help Ford County people educate the Clark County resident. That's unfair, and the legislature, we need to try to get that revisited so they'll reenact that law.
Our forefathers in this country mandated that we support education for the people. Taxes are the way we do that. Community colleges are recognized as a bargain, accessible and affordable both to the student and to the society, and they are an American invention. 1901 in Joliet, Illinois, still going. Because an educated society is economic development. Dodge City Community College was recently recognized as the second most affordable in the state of Kansas and fourth in the nation because of the management of our CFO. Community colleges are supported by their home county, and the state either does or doesn't do its share. A few years ago, the state paid about 25% of our budget. Now it's less than 20%, and more cuts are coming. The mill levy for tax collection is a major source of revenue that depends on the valuation of the county. Johnson County, for instance, the levy is 9.5 mills. Colby and Thomas County is 45.8. Ours is 32.3, down 0.1 from last year.
Question number 5. Contentious issues concerning a proposed Fort Hays DC3 merger requiring dissolving DC3 created unprecedented attention in previous months. These issues will remain before DC3's Board of Trustees after the April 7th election. Would you vote yes or no on any proposal that would require dissolving DC3, and why?
Terry gets his question.
That's a yes or no question. My answer is no.
Good show, Jim.
Seriously, this was serious business. This attempted takeover was serious. And I was amazed and appalled that 3 trustees, that the people who were voted by the electorate to safeguard our college and to protect it, voted to do away with it and essentially give it over to Fort Hays. Not only give over the college, but also give our taxpayers to them because they didn't want to spend a dime to run it. Now, if you can find that deal anywhere else, let me know where you can find it. What everybody wanted to believe was that Fort Hays was going to have a university here, and that they were going to teach classes, face-to-face classes, and develop 4-year programs. That's not true. They never intended to. I talked to the president face-to-face in a meeting August the 12th in Dodge City, asked her how much money they were budgeting for that. She said absolutely none. The only classes that he taught is if we got 40 or 50 students together and they might come down and teach them.
Yes.
I voted no, and I would again. Baccalaureate and the Tech Center can be added without discarding our base. There's no reason to dissolve the college that Dodge City and Ford County taxpayers have built for 80 years. We can add to the base with a partnership, not in a merger. Partnerships with community colleges and universities are working all over the country, and it can work here. Ed Hammond and Shane Banger both said we would be dissolved. The Regent's June report said it will be necessary for the college to dissolve, and a new taxing entity established so Ford County taxpayers will continue to pay for the benefit of Fort Hays. I believe many people did not understand that merger meant that Dodge City Community College would be dissolved. We were told there was no money for face-to-face baccalaureate. It would be virtual. We're doing that now. In the LRC on campus, there's a door marked Fort Hays Virtual College. All a student has to do is open the door and enroll.
I will not vote for any proposal that would require dissolving DC3. I am in favor of upper level classes. We need a region center that should be paid for by the state of Kansas, not the taxpayers of Ford County, very simply. I'm in favor of adding technical colleges and technical programs here. But again, that's a matter of funding. If the state would fund it, they could do it under current legislation and current law. Dissolving our college makes no sense for our students, our community, or our taxpayers. I would vote no.
I just get going here, you know?
Okay, question number 6. Concerned citizens have requested giving them the right to vote on any merger issue. Do you favor giving the general public a vote on any Fort Hays DC3 merger? Yes or no, and why?
For Steve is the question first.
Yes, I said that in the beginning, and the Regent's attorneys alluded to a vote of the people in the June report. Dodge City supported the college for 30 years. Across the state, colleges were outgrowing their city support, so in 1965, legislation was passed for voters in the home county to add them to their tax base, elect 6 trustees, and thereafter they were called community colleges. They voted to do what we do now. The people voted to do what we do now, and they should have the right to vote to do away with it. A partnership, on the other hand, does not change the structure, and no vote is needed.
Ford County citizens must have a right to vote on any consolidation issue. The college belongs to the citizens of Ford County. Folks, this college doesn't belong to Fort Hays, doesn't belong to the regions, doesn't really belong to the state. It belongs to you, the people of Ford County. You've paid for it. You've depended on it for years to educate your children. You voted for it for a number of years ago, both at the city level and then later at the county level. You, the voters, must have the final say.
I can guarantee you that as long as I am alive, that any attempt to do away with or to dissolve our college without the people of Ford County being able to vote on it, it just will not happen because the courts would step in and not allow it to happen. Bill is right, as far as Gene, you are the owners of the college. Nobody can take it away from you. You created it, and you're the only ones that can do away with it. But that will never happen because Ford County residents are not going to give away their college and their tax money and have somebody else tell them what they should be doing with their local money and their local schools. We've invested over $165 million over the 80 years in our college, and it is simply too valuable to play games with. One person indicated that it was just a sandbox that we all like to play in, and that somebody, I guess it's somebody else knew how to play better in our sandbox, but to refer to our college as a sandbox to play in, I think is not the correct way to look at a fine institution that has provided quality education.
Question number 7. Opinions vary on proposals granting Fort Hays' authorities to set tuition rates, reducing the DC3's Board of Trustees to an advisory board, and levying taxes on Ford County taxpayers. What is your position on giving authority to Fort Hays state administrators?
I feel like I've said this about 300 times since this campaign began. Folks, I don't believe in taxation without representation. It seems to me that our forefathers fought a war over this and people died over this issue. I mean, that's pretty serious stuff. And they had a proposal that would make our board an advisory board. And yeah, they would have set the taxes, but at any time they didn't do what Fort Hays told them to, Fort Hays could have picked up their marbles, gone home, and left us with empty buildings. Because we wouldn't have accreditation, we couldn't recruit students, we would not have the structure left. The end of the college would have happened, just that plain and simple. It doesn't make any sense to me to have Ellis County or anyone else setting our taxes. I heard one person saying how much better they would manage the college. They're a university. I'll be happy that you can go to my website and you can look and see a contract for a double-dipping former president of $260,000 a year. Folks, if that's good management, I don't understand what good management is. We've done a pretty good job here locally. And I'll trust our local folks long before I'll trust somebody else. We need to keep the tuition affordable for our children. As we've been on the campaign trail, we've heard that. We've heard from people say, my kids went to Dodge City. We need to keep it affordable.
The proposal that was brought by Fort Hays demanded that we turn over our college to them. That was non-negotiable. That was the first demand before they would even talk further. And yet they had got trustees to buy into that. And our trustees that you elect to take care of the college, they would have no power with the exception of setting taxes to ship to Fort Hays. That's the only power they would have, statutory power left of all of those. And like I say, you would continue, all of us would continue to pay taxes over a college that we had no control over what happened, what kind of classes would be taught in it, if any classes would be taught in it. And once Fort Hays did this only for a motivation of financial gain. They wanted our students, they charge $189 tuition, we charge $70 with fees. They were going to jack that up, and they would have made about $2 or $3 million a year off the people of Fort County.
Leave the community college in place with the local board in control, and let Fort Hays or any other university be in control of whatever they bring in, baccalaureate or a tech center or maybe K-State ag classes. We don't need them to take over, but we would like to work with them as partners. Enough said.
This is the number 8. Each of you has been given a copy of DC3 Fort Hays operational agreement dated November 5th, 2014. The DCCC Board of Trustees voted on a motion to forward the proposed agreement to the Kansas Board of Regents for consideration. The motion failed 3-3. What is your opinion on the proposal? If a motion was made to send this agreement or a like proposal to the Kansas Board of Regents, would you vote yes or no, and why?
Terry begins this, and this candidate should have 2 minutes to respond to this one.
To give some background to this, in October, well, by the time of September, people started getting very, very concerned about the trustees, the 3 that were in favor of dissolving the college and giving it to Fort Hays. So that's where our Coalition for a Better Plan came to light and started asking tough questions. And in October, basically, there was a review, a meeting where it was shown that athletics would be out entirely at the college if the merger went through. But the administration at Dodge City Community College and Dr. Woodburn put together an excellent plan that Dr. Woodburn presented to the board on November the 5th. And that plan was basically Dodge City Community College be left alone, be independent, we'll do what we want to do and do it well. And Fort Hays, if they want to come in and do something, they're entitled to it. That would be a partnership. We take care of our expenses, they take care of their expenses, and we could all work together. That's the way a partnership would work. But the three, so this is a great proposal, this 2+2. Our three trustees, Forrest Jane Hampton, Dr. Jason Joy, and Don Webb voted for this. Let's send that to the K board because that makes sense. Getting rid of the college makes no sense. And the three trustees, Dr. Presley, Dr. Conant, and
Morris Reeves, Dr.
yes,
Reeves.
Dr. Morris Reeves, all voted against even sending that proposal to Fort Hays for consideration because they thought they would offend Fort Hays. Now, if you elect the wrong trustees in this election, you're the ones that may be offended rather than Fort Hays. We cannot let that happen. We can never let our college be taken away from us. We own it, and we should keep it. Thank you. 2 minutes,
I will talk that.
We'll let you have your 2 minutes.
I voted for the operational agreement to be forwarded to Fort Hays and the regions, and I would do that again. Let me tell you what the 3 basic goals are. To collaborate in offering 4-year baccalaureate education. To assist in offering technical training for students and area businesses through a technical institute. To enhance the economy of Dodge City, Ford County, and Southwest Kansas. It had everything in it that we needed to do what they had proposed doing, only that we would keep our college intact. That was what they objected to. It was a beautifully written, nice piece of work. And when our board failed to act as a board should in unity, the administration and the staff got together and put this nice proposal together. However, it has not gone to Fort Hays or to the regions for consideration. It should have been forwarded for evaluation and discussion, and many misunderstandings, I believe, could have been worked through in the time since.
I believe the November 5th, 2014 proposal presented by Forrest Jane Hampton is a fine place to begin. It keeps DCCC intact as a comprehensive community college. And then I'd like to make one comment about comprehensive community college. We haven't talked about that tonight. A lot of people think community colleges are really just junior colleges. A comprehensive community college is more than that. It's not just serving the young person coming out of high school and preparing them to go on to a 4-year institution like the old junior college did. But a comprehensive community college also has a wide variety of tech programs. And bluntly, if you want to look at some of the best tech programs in the state of Kansas today, you won't find them at universities. You'll find them at community colleges.
Absolutely.
And I'll use Johnson County as one. It's unbelievable some of the stuff they have there at Johnson County. It's unbelievable, their program of Burlington Northern and so forth. It also means that you do community enrichment programs. Gee, one of these days I might retire, and once in my life I'd like to really learn to cook. I never did have that opportunity growing up. Guys don't do that. Community colleges, comprehensive community colleges do those kind of programs. They might offer classes for new mothers. They might offer programs even for seniors and senior centers. We need a comprehensive community college. I know this is a good proposal to start with. It maintains local control, no taxation without representation. I would just want to make sure that any agreement with Fort Hays or any other institution would not preclude Dodge City Community College from looking with other institutions. We're an ag area out here. Notice that? We have farms, don't we? And tractors and all that kind of stuff. Well, if you're going to offer an ag program, what state university would be a logical partner? Does anybody know about K-State? And I say that, but that was the kind of that's been the attitude. The one problem I really had with Hayes is we had programs at the school district where we're bringing people from K-State out to do some programming with our teachers. You know what? They said, you can't do that anymore. Well, do you have something better? Well, we don't have anything, but you can't do it because it's in our area. That's not the kind of partners we need. We need partners who are helping us bring the best we can for our people, for our young people. So I think that we need to pursue those, but there's a lot of other things we need to work on too. There's a lot of ways to make the programs work the way they should. We don't have to give up the college to accomplish that.
Closing statement?
Yes, at this time, you each get 2 minutes for your closing statement, and who do you begin with? I think Terry goes first.
Terry was first.
Terry, 2 minutes for your closing
Terry
statement.
went last time.
Go ahead.
2 minutes.
Well, again, thank you for coming tonight. It's a real pleasure. I think there's not as many you tonight that came last night to the chamber. We had a great crowd on Monday with the student one at Dodge City, but you're to be congratulated, and we appreciate your being here. I just want to say that community colleges are so extremely important to us. The key to education is everything. My mother had an 8th grade education because she had 10 brothers and sisters, and she was one of the older ones, and she was asked to stay home and take care of. That's how things were in those days. But she had a great appreciation for education, and she taught her children to value it, and I can tell you that if it weren't for taxpayers and others' generosity, that the legislature providing enough funds that it didn't cost an arm and a leg to go to college, and other people providing scholarships and things of this nature that helped me and my brothers and sisters get through college. I don't know where I'd be now. I owe everything to my education. I owe everything to the people who provided that education to me and the teachers who were there to help me. That's why it's so important that we keep our community college. My father-in-law was a veterinarian, Dr. Bill Ripple. He started his classes at Dodge City JUCO in the late 30s, and it had not been for the JUCO, he would not have been a veterinarian. It's that simple. There was no money. So we all owe each generation, each other, for what they have provided. And I say, I just can't believe that anybody would actually think it would be a good idea to hand over our college to someone else who wasn't willing to pay for it and didn't want to give anything in return and would not even guarantee to teach one class on college. And why, and it just doesn't make any sense why some people in Dodge City thought that was a good idea. It didn't make any sense then, it doesn't make any sense now, and it won't make any sense in the future. So please vote for the trustees that will protect your community college.
I mentioned a while ago that community colleges are an American invention. Actually, it was American that promoted the idea, because in the old country, if you weren't somebody already or wealthy, you couldn't afford to go to the universities, and so if you never could read and write, then you never were going to be anybody. So that was part of the mandate for Americans to educate our people. I think we should be so proud that that happened in our country and that it's still going, because it became far over what people thought it would. And ours also, it started in 1935 with 14 students, if I remember right. In 20, I have a figure here, in 2013 and 14 last year, the total number of head count was 2,620. When they built that beautiful campus in 1969 for 800 students, they had no idea what was going to happen in a few more years, and so they've been stretched and trying to catch up ever since. Anyway, I wanted to tell you thank you for coming to the forum, and thank you for taking an interest in your community college. This is my position. Dodge City Community College will remain intact with accreditation and all programs in place under local control of trustees and a president. Ford County will not become the only county whose taxpayers are the major financial support of a state institution by continuing to pay a mandated mill levy for the benefit of Fort Hays, and which likely will not be lowered. Our helicopter program is the only one like it in partnership with a community college in the whole world. And we will promote other partnerships with Fort Hays or K-State or other universities for baccalaureate degrees and/or build a tech center after a current validated feasibility study is in place according to Regents' policies. And finally, a personal statement. I am deeply saddened that this countywide community, my community, has been polarized by this issue. It didn't need to be that way, with barbs and accusations being thrown by one side to the other, and we should have been working together all the time on some kind of an exciting and realistic plan. It's my hope we still can come together and promote further educational opportunities. Whether you're a KU fan or not, they have a slogan I wish we could adopt. To go far above, we must go together. I ask for your vote on April 7th.
And Bill,
Oh, Bill did.
You know, I don't know, after the other two comments, there's not much left to say maybe. They've done a great job. I've been wearing a tie during this campaign, and the tie's got the Statue of Liberty on it. And I happen to think that's a very appropriate symbol for community colleges. Because community colleges don't care whether you're rich, poor, whether you maybe need a little developmental help, or whether you're the smartest kid in the class. They don't care whether you're interested in academic or technical. And in some ways, they don't even care if you want a degree, or maybe you've got a PhD, but you need to go back and take a computer class because those blasted things have changed again and you need to understand how to use them. Anybody had that experience lately? Golly, just the phones anymore they ought to give you a class on, you know. But I really, truly believe that community college is one of the greatest institutions that America has created. It's one of the great equalizers. It's a place where we can all send our kids, our grandkids, and we can make a difference. And I guess my thing is, we aren't going to dissolve this college. If it is going to happen, it's going to be over my dead body, folks. I want to be very clear. I'm going to vote to keep this community college strong, independent, and serving the citizens of Fort County. Doesn't mean I'm against other opportunities. I'll work for those too. But the community college needs to stay. And thank you all for coming tonight. We appreciate you.
Coming from northern Fort County. We're usually going the other direction, so it's great to have you guys here and the crowd. I'm really pleased, and I think we have a potential candidate in the room that's running for write-in for mayor, and anyway, Jim Cure. So, and are there any other candidates that are running for school board or no, City Council? Bill, you're running for sheriff? Okay. Bill Carr. You want to say anything?
Well, I can only echo what Carol said. We do certainly thank you for coming out and listening to what the candidates had to say. And please stay after the forum is finished and ask questions individually to the candidates. And for those people who were not able to attend tonight's forum, please advise them that it will be shown on Channel 8. Matt Unruh, our fine DC3 former student, I think he's a good employee now, has filmed this and it will be shown on Channel 8.
And YouTube as well, later on. YouTube as well.
And YouTube as well. Thank you.
Thank you to Carol and Carl Herman. And that was wonderful. Thank you.
And I apologize, I intended to say the same thing. We've all been through this
We'll say it again.
several times. I did an excellent
Well,
job.
and thank you, Charles Sellens.
Stay and ask the candidates any of the questions.